when I first came to Animal Ark, it was a small, poor rural shelter. When I said this building was in disrepair, that was the most polite way that I could have put that. I oftentimes use expletives. This area you're looking at here used to be a big open room filled with stainless steel cages. What we did is we came back from Maddie's adoption center and we said, wow, we can't do that. We don't have $800 bazillion. And I was kind of moping around this area and I thought, well, but what can we do? There's got to be something that we can do. And so I thought, well, if the cages weren't here, how much room would we have? And I was surprised when I measured it without the cages. I mean, how much room those cages were taking up, because you needed to have the cage, you needed to have room to open the door, then you needed room for the people to stand outside the door, then you needed room for people to walk behind the people standing behind, and by the time you added it all up, it was a huge amount of space that those cages were taking up. And I realized if they weren't there and we left a narrow corridor to walk through that room, we had room for 3 beautiful condominiums that admittedly wouldn't hold as many cats as were housed there previously, but I believed in my bones if we reduced the number we were housing at that moment, we could maybe move them through more quickly through that bottleneck, and we could ultimately save more animals. So it wasn't about how many you could house, it was about how many you could throughput. Again, the bandwidth idea. So with a lot of resistance from everyone that we pretty much knew, I was able to convince them to let us build these first 3 cat apartments. And all we did is to get the money, we just put an interactive map of the apartments, a little spec drawing on our website, and we allowed people to sponsor these little apartments. And within literally 2 weeks, every one of those condos was sponsored, fully paid for, and the construction was done shortly thereafter. It was so successful, in fact, that we decided there was another wing of our cat center that was just a wide open colony room that would typically house up to 20 cats at one time. And we decided, well, gosh, we didn't really like the big colony housing either, so maybe we could convert that into condos. The problem with this one wing, you can see how awful it was, but the big problem with that being an open room was that when people would come to visit, the room would accommodate basically one family at a time. They would walk in, they'd be seeing maybe 20 cats, and then another family would come in and the other family would feel like they needed to leave, or shy cats would constantly hide. Managing the population of cats was a nightmare. So we decided we wanted to get rid of that and turn it into cat apartments as well. And so this is a picture of when we first started putting the studs in that big, huge room to split it up into condominiums. And again, paid for all by sponsorships via the internet. Every condo has got its own separate air sources for in and out. It's got built-in custom cat furniture, ceramic tile, track lighting, classical music. The largest of them measure 7 by 14 feet. They have valances and all kinds of other amenities. And let me tell you, the kitties just love them.